All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the rosters of the LCK as they're preparing for the LCK Cup. Let's take a look at them. There'll definitely be like some gaps in my knowledge because I'm primarily focused on like playoffs and worlds and so forth. So let's have a little look. I think the biggest change, of course, is Zeus leaving T1 and now Doran being the top laner of T1, which means that leaves a gap in Hanwha Life, and that is where Zeus has gone. Genji have gotten rid of Ruler and Lehens, getting Duro from Bank, BKX, FearX, BNK, and adding Ruler for, of course, Pays. So Ruler is back after a semi-disappointing year. He was still very close to qualify to Worlds. I don't think that he was the biggest issue, but he definitely, like in terms of individual performance, wasn't as sharp as he usually is, you know. So it's definitely worth to like point out. Nevertheless, we continue. I need to check the rest of the rosters. Like KT roster, we got BDD, Diokdam, Wei, Cuz, and Perfect. BDD and Cuz reunited. BDD is a player that I like super much. I think that's sick. We have These Nuts Freaks. They have now, of course, renamed, and they have some familiar names here. Live coming back from the LPL. The man who invented a Rumble support. Berserker is back from over C9, which is kind of sick and cool. I thought he was going to leave last year already, but they decided to suffer for one more year in North America. And Bulldog and Pioshik and Dudu. Dudu is a channel favorite. We like Dudu. Diblaskia, Showmaker, Aiming, Battle is back, and then Sivu. He was supposed to be a super talented player, but I don't know anything on my own, so there's that. Battle is back with Showmaker, so that's gonna be fun. Battle naming in the bot lane. Gonna be funky, very funky. I think Battle last year was quite disappointing. I don't think that he had the magic that he did. You know, maybe if he got himself to the World Championship, he was indeed very close, right? They almost beat T1, but I think Battle was the one who threw that series, if anything. DRX, we have Sponge, Juhan, Rich in the top lane, Yukal, and we have Teddy and Andil. Yukal coming back. Yukal has been kind of doing fine in the LPL. I think that in all of the games that they played for Thunder Talk, I think that Yukal was a key player. So I'm very excited to see Yukal back. He has a very good energy about him. He's super cool. Let's take a look at BNK Clear, Raptor, Vikla, Diable, and Kellin. Nongshin Red Force, Fisher, Lehens got Giga demoted, Kingen got Giga demoted. Seems like the league just got sick and tired of Mr. Kingen and Lehens. Jivo is someone that is hyped. I do think Fisher is doing better in the LCK than he did in the LPL. Sylvie, for some reason, I don't remember how Sylvie played. I'm blanking on Sylvie. Brion Blade, we got Morgan, we got Closer moving on from BNK. I think Closer in the run-up that made FearX interesting. I do think that Clear and Closer were the best players, but I do think that Closer was ass in playoffs. So there's that. And then we have Hype, who I think I remember seeing that he was semi-decent. And that's it. I don't remember much of Polu for some reason. Mata joining T1 is kind of hyped. Mata joining T1, I think that's a huge signing, but let's get into the tier list making. I do think that in my mind, this is in context of LCK and Winter Split, and in the short term, this is not the world's tier list, okay? This is not how well teams are going to be doing at Worlds. There's only two teams that belong in S tier, in my opinion, when it comes to regional play. And I think Genji, the main concern for me about Genji is I'm not so certain how well Duro will adjust. You know, it's like it's a big jump up, and I think that the light gives us a little bit of a rose-tinted glasses in terms of you know, just the support moving up from a lower team up into a higher team. I think Delay is like a one-off type of player. I think Duro's going to be good. I think that he was solid. Nothing stood out as bad when he was playing in FearX, and I do have trust in Genji's like decision making surrounding the support. But in my mind, when I compare Hanwha Life and Genji, I guess the main thing that we need to think about is how hard does Zeus change the Hanwha Life kind of like the Hanwha Life potential. Because in the past, I would consider Hanwha Life to have a less of a spread in terms of which metas they would be like the best in, and I would think that Genji has a better spread. But Hanwha Life now with Zeus in the picture, and especially with the Worlds run Zeus had, I do think that Hanwha Life like covers all bases so well. I in my mind, always before I wanted to make the tier list, I did think that I would put Genji first, but I think that I have to put Hanwha Life first. I think Hanwha Life needs to be put first. I think Viper comes off a better year of Ruler. I think that he needs some warming up to do. Duro, and I think also Canyon. I think when it comes to like grinding out regular split games, I do think that Canyon is worse than Peanut. And I think that Peanut and Delight is such a good core for players like Viper, Zeus, and Zeka. I feel like Hanwha Life is just like the ideal team building, if anything, while Genji is just getting stacked on the names that echo the hardest in the halls of legends, you know? So I do think that Hanwha Life, for me, I think the Zeus change is very, very interesting. Of course, Zeus has now been playing 3 years on T1, and there are certain luxuries that are there and certain anchors that are there that of course could hold him back or make him play better. So it's going to be interesting to see how well he does. I just think that Genji carry a little bit more risk because they have added Duro and they've added Ruler after, in my mind, one of the weaker years in his career. I think in the short term, I would prefer Viper over Ruler in the short term. Even though Ruler, I think that he had one of the best, if not the best, AD carry individual performance of all time in 2023. Okay. Next in line, I will just put T1 and A. I think probably I'll put them put them alone there. I don't think that anyone belongs. I don't think they belong in S, and I don't think they belong anywhere else. I do think that in regular seasons in the LCK, I do think that they tend to struggle a lot more. They tend to struggle a lot more for sure. I think obviously T1 in terms of the individual skill of Gumyushi, Owner, and Korea, I do think that these are guys that can compete with the absolute best, but there is a question of consistency. I think the characteristics that make T1 insanely good aren't as valuable in regular season play, because I do think that teams like Hanwha Life and Genji, when they can grind out games, practice from comfort, figure out metas over longer periods of time, I just think that they are a lot more dangerous, like a lot more dangerous. I think that, and then of course the World Championship is a very unique tournament because in the end, you don't practice as much. The meta is very dynamic, things change real time, and you need to adjust to very, very unique circumstances, and you need to clutch things out because your back is against the wall almost throughout the entire tournament. All right, so that's the top three. That's the easiest part, right? That's the easiest part. The main question now, where we follow from that, from there, let's just take a look at some of the teams. We'll just click away, Genji and T1 and Hanwha Life. I think FearX looks quite unexciting to me. That's where I'm at. I think OK Brian probably I can't put next in line either. I think D+ is probably like the easiest choice to go next. Like D+, I do think that this KT roster looks interesting to me, even though I'm skeptical about Perfect. But I feel like this is an issue for a lot of the teams, where I think that probably I would put DN above Nongshim Red Force. It's like I'm a very, very big BDD fan, and I do think that BDD is better than Showmaker. and I do think that aiming strength doesn't have that wide of a spread. And I think that the support situation and the top lane situation is very strange in the LCK. It really, really is. It is really, really weird. I think the Octam had some decent games on FPX. Like I do think that he's quite solid. I think he's a good player. I think that he is a solid player. Cuz Pioshik, I think it's like side grade. I think Cuz is like a little bit more consistent, but Pioshik has a very, very high ceiling in my mind. Now I think the easiest way is to actually follow up with D plus Kia. I don't think it. I feel like the roster just covers the most amount of ground. Bulldog, Dudu, Pioshik, Berserker live. I don't know. Like a part of me, I am considering putting DN fourth. Maybe it's crazy, but I do like the spread of this roster. I think Bulldog, Dudu are like solid players. I think Dudu is probably like the top lane that excites me the most here, but at the same time I have very little information on Siwu, so I could be very wrong here. I could be wrong here. I think that's the main thing here. I have a lack of knowledge here in terms of how good Siwu is, and that is making me be a little bit less accurate here than I wish I could be. Because maybe if I had a more accurate assessment of him, I would have more conviction here. I do think this man here, that's the mystery for me. Okay, but I think the easiest way is D plus, DN, and then KT probably. I think it would be like this. I think this would be the way. Berserker is an interesting pickle, right? I do think this is a player that is going to perform better in Korea. I just believe so. I think that he held very strong, but I think at some point the practice of mind was just lacking, and the issues of C9 were just reoccurring. They were just the same for way too long. And I think that when AD carry was the strongest part in the meta, I do think that Berserker delivered, and I think that he's going to do super well. Life is a very interesting player. Like Life is the type of player that if he's playing a champion that has over like 30% presence in the meta, he's going to be not that great unless it's like Rel. But if he plays something that is out of the ordinary, he's going to do super well. Like Pyke, fucking Rumble, Nico. Like if he gets goofy, he can be decent. If he plays standard, this is the type of player that just gets bored. Like I don't know how he's going to I don't know how he's going to come back to the LCK. I really don't know. maybe the strictness and the discipline of LCK is going to make him play better again. It could be the case. It could be the case. But I do think that I probably have to put this is a question of fuck. I love my boy BDD. I like BDD a lot, but then the question is, can I put BDD, Yoktam, and Cuz over then Dudu, Pioshik, Bulldog? Because Bulldog is like solid. He's like solid. But BDD is so damn good. I don't know. I'm flipping back and forth. I'm flipping back and forth between these three teams. I'm a big BDD fan. I am a really, really big BDD fan. I'm gonna put BDD there, man. I'll put BDD first on the B tier list. I think that's just how I have to do it. I have to do it. Maybe if I knew about Siwu more, it would be better, but I don't. Let's see the continuation here now of the final team. So we have DRX, OK Brian, Nongshim Red Force, and Fear X. I do think that Nongshim Red Force and OK Brian, I think these teams are looking a little bit better to me. Nongshim Red Force, OK Brian, and then do I just round off with Fearx and DRX? Is this how I land? I do believe this is how I'm going to land, guys. Like I'm going strictly off of like what I know in regards to players, and that's it. Like I'm looking at the players that I know and what excites me, and I'm not super hyped about the jungle situation in DRX. I'm not a big fan of Rich either. I think Yukal is fun, and I think Teddy is solid. Andil, I think he struggled on KDF, but in my mind, it's like I see hype, I see closer, Morgan. The issue is here, I don't know how much about Hambak. I don't know. So it's like we have burger flipping here. We have burger flipping here. Like for the DJs out there that are watching this, looking for some type of advice, you know, these are the type of teams you wait and see. You wait and see, and then of course you take a look at just draft. Just draft. But this is the LCK for you. You have top 3 pretty cemented, and then the B tier, I think these are teams that can beat each other. If we ask ourselves the question, it's like, which is the team that has the highest like ceiling in terms of causing an upset out of the Damwon, KT, and DN rosters? I do think that you kind of have to land on them between D plus Kia and KT. I think it does kind of make sense that we put DN Freaks third. So there's that. I think that's solid. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Let's move to LPL. That's the tier list. Lock it in. Let's just jump to the LPL. The LPL has far more teams, man. Far more teams, far more players. It's about to get even dizzier. I am thinking if I should just do like a top 8. Maybe I should do a top 8, and that's it, you know. Okay. So the first, I think Bilibili hasn't made any changes. They have you know, a different coach, and they don't have Shun anymore, who was very important to them at the World Championship. I do feel like Shun works better with Bin, and he seems happy with him, but Wei is still a very solid, very solid jungle, you know. I think that in the end, this is it, you know. I don't think that Bilibili shouldn't be a favorite. There's no way they're not a favorite. Top Esports, I think, is next in line. I think in terms of the issues that they were facing, I do think that they made upgrades. Top Esports' biggest problem was that in their final game and their final series of their season, they always looked terrible. And the Master Cup doesn't bring hope because they did lose against anyone's legend. But I do think that reuniting Kanavi and 369 is going to give us a 369 renaissance. And I do think, as much as people like to hate on Crisp for his bad games, I do think that he performs in games that matter. And I think that in Weibo Gaming's runs, I do think that Crisp has been quite important when it comes to the opposite of what Top Esports' issue was before. I think that Kanavi last year was one of the best junglers in the world. I think that like Kanavi, Tarzan, Owner, Canyon, Peanut, like these guys are just like in a world of their own, man. And Kanavi definitely still belongs. So even though I think Tian had a fantastic year on Top Esports, I do think that Kanavi just has bigger carry pants than Tian. So I kind of like the Top Esports roster. Where I placed them, I'm not so sure. Let's just put them here for now. We're just kind of discussing all the rosters as we go. Weibo Gaming, I think that, you know, Tian and Zhaohu, I just don't expect this to work that well. I think that Tarzan did so much work, and I feel like this is the type of team that needs a Tarzan, that needs a Kanavi to function. I just don't think Tian and Zhaohu is a pairing that excites me. I think Zhaohu didn't play so well last year, and I think Tian is basically, it's Tiancos at this point, you know. That's where I'm at with Tian. I think he has a wide range of champions that he played, and he was cool, but this is Tiancos, you know. You want to surround yourself with firepower, and this is kind of looking like you know, a roster that definitely downgraded in my mind. I think Hang is definitely worse than Crisp, but I understand why they move. I think Hang is a little bit more consistent, but his ceiling is definitely like a lot worse. I think just mechanically he's solid, fights well, but I think his lane phase is very uninteresting. And at the same time, I think that his map play is also very uninteresting. And I think Crisp is just a little bit high level there. Well, once again, I repeat, I know that Crisp entered a lot of games, and that can be frustrating too, right? Okay, so we have to put Weibo. Let's just put them temporarily there. Ninjas and Ninjamas have Doinby. I know everybody's hyped for Doinby, but I'm honestly not hyped. Like, I am not hyped at all. Like, this is a roster that to me is so clapped. Like, this is Doinby's return. I don't think this is a roster. I'm just thinking about Doinby's previous rosters, bro. Doinby's previous rosters that he played on were demonic. I don't think this roster is like super hype. Like Doinby back is hype, but with the changes to mid and mid lane being a little bit more peculiar, I'm not so sure, man. I don't see this team ever cracking anything unless Doinby is just like the best mid laner of all time. Like if he is just the best tactician of all time, then it is what it is, you know. I like respect, but I don't believe it. I see Shanji, I see Aki, you know, I see PP God. I'm not getting hyped here. I'm not getting hyped here at all for Doinby's roster, you know. Like if Doinby was, for example, in let's think of a team. Fuck me, I can't find a team that works for him. Like let's say he was on anyone's Legends. That would be crazy. I think he would be fitting here really, really well. Maybe with a different top laner than Flandre. But okay, we continue. We talked about these teams. JDG have Ale, Shun, Scout, Hayes, Missing, and then CV Max in the coaching position. Missing was terrible last year, bro. Even his Rakan lost the fucking magic, man. Even on Rakan, he couldn't win anymore. He looked very, very just bad. Just bad last year. Hayes, I think that my issue with this JDG team, this is just LNG 2.0. I feel like this team will be a level of inactive that is going to bring me pain. When I see Scout and Pace being, of course, the AD in the mid. And then there's Shun. You know, maybe Shun is the guy that is going to bring the spice. I'm really, really trying to figure out how this is going to work out together. It's going to be interesting. I do think that there is a lot of good players here, and I think that Ale is like 5th best top lane in the LPL, you know? But I'm not sure. I don't think, I don't know. Something is off about it. I can't put my finger on it. Zika, Weiwei, Haichao, Fotig, Zhuo. This is a roster. This is the biggest downgrade of all time, bro. This is just... Everyone knows my hatred for Fotig. Zika just got left behind here, bro. Like someone needs to bail out Zika. This is fucked, bro. This is so sad. that is so sad. I Mr. Weiwei. This man had such a terrible year. I don't know what happened to him after leaving Weibo Gaming. I guess this man fell off a cliff, bro. Really, really fell off a cliff. Aishao, like he had some decent games on like his LeBlanc and you know, some melee mids, if I remember correctly, but he doesn't have the classiness of the mid laners that was legendary in the league, you know, in my mind. Reopen close tab, sorry. Okay. So we spoke about LNG, FPX, that's like Sheer, Sorrow, Shadow, Care, Bat, G-Way. Alright, this is not a team that cracks top 8. Anyone's Legend, I think this is the type of team, like, I feel like Tabe kind of raises the ceiling of a team, but I do think this is the type of team that is going to be like first place in the regular season. This is like first place in regular season and then lose like a best of 5 in round 3 to anybody. Like, this is a team that is going to figure out and with like find their ceiling super fluidly and super easy. But I think it's going to be hard for them to break that in my mind. I do think that it is a very well constructed like roster. I think the main thing for me, like if anything is going to change, is that both Shanks and Hope need to like break their perceived ceiling in terms of like individual performance, because they've been good and they've been borderline great, but they need to be great. You know, they need to be great for this roster to like break through, in my opinion. It's like Shanks and Hope. I remember many good games they had, but they didn't have those games when it mattered the most. You know. So there's that. I do think it's a pretty fucking damn solid roster though. Let's take a look at what's cooking more. So we have the high seeds. OMG, Moham! My boy Moham! He made it! He made it! Ali. Moham is in LPL. Muhammad Ali, mate. Got Hang, Lim Feng, Starry, the Jinx guy. Yeah, this doesn't fill me with any excitement. LGD. Got Meteor. Meteor just stuck there forever, man. Free Meteor, man. Free Meteor. I think he could do better. Hoya, Oscar de la Hoya, 1xn. 1xn is fucking good. C-Tab. Beishuan. Domin Gilligan. I really hate this guy, Beishuan. A free 1xn, man. Free 1xn. Free fucking Meteor. These guys belong in some of the higher end teams, in my opinion. IG. JJ is freed from EDG, which is sick as fuck, in my opinion. We have Rookie with Gala, Mako, The Shy. I think this is fucking sick, bro. I think this is sick. I don't know. This team is fucking good, by the way. Gala, Mako. The thing is, Rookie had one of the best mid lane performances of all time, bro. In spring with this NIP roster of last year. I think Rookie should not be underestimated, man. He should not be underestimated. Rookie should not be underestimated. I think this is a roster that can definitely go far, in my opinion. These guys can make it far, man. Sure, they can make it far. Let's take a look at the final ones. So Cube, Beluga, Tianzhen, Kariz, Taeyun. Oh, the Vampire, bro. Vampire the GOAT. ZDZ, Zhao, Angel, Assume, Wink. That's not super exciting. RNG, Milky Way. Milky Way. Oh, he got sent. He got sent to space, dude. Damn. Whew. All right. I think that we have all our candidates of the teams that can like make a breakthrough. I think TT could like make it through. Let's place this in a good way. I honestly think that IG, like, I am really hyped about IG. I'm really hyped about IG. Not gonna lie, bro. I think they make it to Worlds. I'm fairly certain. I think the Rookie is so damn good, and I think their bot lane is insane. And I understand that there's a certain risk that this team carries with the top laner that they have. But bro, Deshae loves Rookie, bro. He owes him. Okay? He owes him. He owes him. The thing is, Deshae is also coming back with new map. Can you imagine how good Deshae is gonna be in lane swaps? They're gonna be the best in lane swaps. No, he's gonna fucking suck ass in lane swaps. He's going to fucking have the ball skate here in lane swaps, you just know it. I think that NIP probably they don't belong here. LNG don't belong here. It's like LNG doesn't even belong on the list, bro, period. Yeah, I think this would be my tier list. This would be my tier list. I think that Bilibili should be number one. At Top Esports, I think that they've made upgrades. They have addressed like the issues that this team has, which I think is super cool. Adding Kanavi, I think Crisp is also like super good to add what the team issues were, in my opinion. I think Jackie Love and Crisp is just gonna work, man. I just think that's gonna work. And IG, I just believe in this roster. I believe that it's going to land well, you know. I think it's going to land well. I don't put too much stock into the Massive Cup. Like, this is pretty much a prediction of how winter is going to end. This is like how winter's gonna end, you know. And so there's that. We covered LPL, we covered LCK. I think I'm happy with my list.